Thank you, Batanai, for joining us. Let's begin with this news out of Econet. It's no surprise, really, isn't it? Number one, you've got an economy that's not performing. And then secondly, you also have a very, very difficult environment for a media company in Zimbabwe. Let's not beat about the bush, right?
Yes, you're right. I think for Econet, I think they've been quite aggressive in terms of rolling out a lot of our product offerings, just even across the African continent. But as we indicated, there are a lot of challenges, I think especially in TV and media just across Africa, really, that, a stumbling block. But as a business here in Zimbabwe, Econet Wireless still remains well positioned. Of course, after the unbundling of the fintech operation, which is Cassava. So the two companies actually make up one of the largest big cap companies on the ZSC. So we have your Cassava and you also have your Econet Wireless, which basically provides data and voice. And then Cassava focuses on the fintech opportunity in Zimbabwe, where you're looking at mobile money and things like that. Yeah. So really within the Zimbabwean borders, I think they're doing quite well in terms of rolling out relevant products and also taking advantage of the technology revolution across Africa. So.
Absolutely. And Zimbabwe is certainly not alone in being a place that's hostile for media companies. I think wherever you look across the African continent, apart from here in South Africa, media are known to thrive. Let's talk about the wider Zimbabwean market. Of course, Zimbabwe has been in the news for all sorts of wrong reasons. Riot police on the streets, people being beaten up by the police for demonstrating and saying what they want. In such an environment, you would imagine people would dismiss that market and say, this one, I'll leave it until they sort out the politics. What are you seeing in terms of flaws?
Yes, so really in terms of macroeconomic developments, we've seen a lot of changes on the policies front. We've seen changeover from a multi-currency now to a local currency, which is RTGS or the ZWL. And we've seen a lot of changes on the fiscal side, the 2% tax and things like that. So what has happened on the ground, especially when you're looking at consumer demand, really it has affected demand and actually in terms of GDP focus, we're actually quite negative. So we're estimating a decline of about 2.5%. But also in terms of the changeover from the multi-currency to the local currency, really we've seen that in real terms, especially when you're looking at share prices, they've actually come down. So really the market is down in USD terms. We're looking at a market cap of just below, just around 3 billion thereabout. So really that shows you the market is quite cheap from a pricing perspective, just from a technical analysis perspective. So really it has also created opportunities in the sense that on the local front there is much liquidity to push up share prices, and also foreign investors have not been coming in. So there's no demand for the shares. So as a result, the prices are looking very weak. So from that perspective, as a value scavenger, I think it's a good time really to buy into some of the well-managed companies on CSP, take positions, especially for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to come back and talk about those foreign investors, because we do know for quite a long time Zimbabwe has had foreign investors who have come in to pick up shares there. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what you are seeing on the ground in terms of places where you could put your money. You suggest traditional companies that have weathered the storm, but at the same time, we also know that if you say things are cheap, they're cheap relative to your economic prospects, isn't it? Suggesting that there may be some kind of recovery around the corner. How far around the corner is that?
Okay, so you'll find that a key challenge amongst Zimbabwean companies for them to actually grow production volumes has been the shortage of foreign currency, right? So you find that your best bets will be the export-oriented companies, companies that actually export products into different markets. So of course your key suspects will be your companies such as Padenga that do crocodiles, horticultural concerns such as Tangada, which is operated by Mikos, but you also have miners as well, Bindura Nickel. So really the key suspects would be your export-oriented companies. Right. But that said, what we also see is that companies that have holdings in property. So you find that real estate values really tend to be a good hedge against inflation and any changes in the broader macro environment. So those companies will definitely gain from an appreciation or fair value adjustment gains. So you find there are a lot of opportunities in property stocks and also banking institutions, because what has happened also with banks is that they invested a lot of capital in real estate, just as a value preservation strategy.
Sure.
So really financial services and property stocks are some of the areas that we see actually.
Yeah. Sorry, but we're running out of time. Two quick questions. One, I want to talk a little bit about Padenga, actually. How is the company doing? Because many people don't know that, you know, those expensive crocodile-made handbags that they carry are actually from a little company in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Padenga has been doing quite well. So it's a company that is approximately 1 billion in terms of market cap. That's 1 billion local currency in terms of the market cap. So they've done well. They export everything. You know, they also have an operation in the United States of America where they focus on skins and also crocodile meat. So right now, in terms of their strategy, they've been trying to diversify, you know, their business model simply because it's mainly just crocodiles. Yes, it's export oriented, but they want to diversify. They've come up with a recent transaction where they are buying into a gold operation in Zimbabwe, so they will have 50% of that gold mining entity, just to try and diversify their streams. But also, it's good in the sense that, you know, gold is also looking quite attractive on the international markets, given, of course, the global risk. The prices are moving towards 1,500. So really, they're quite excited about that. They're willing to put more money and boost production in terms of the ounce produced.
Absolutely.
So really, it's an exciting proposition.
For sure. Really interesting company, that one. Quickly, before you go, foreign investors, do you still have any? And what percentage of the market do they account for?
Yeah, so on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, you find that a lot of investors have been exiting the market, basically using the dual-listed Old Mutual share, which is also listed on the JSE. So we're buying into Old Mutual Zim and then selling on the JSE to exit the market. Because in terms of movement of money out of Zimbabwe, it has been a challenge because of the effect. So really, because of those risks and also other political risks, we find that, you know, foreign investors have actually been exited. So we've got quite a few that have been there for quite some time that understand the Zim market, that sort of remain and taken a long-term view. But currently, I guess in terms of foreign investor activity, I think they're quite on the low side.
For sure.